A rift in the alliance, the Trump-Netanyahu fallout. The special relationship is no more. Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, once the closest of allies, are now locked in a bitter feud. The breakup has sent shockwaves through the Middle East, leaving many wondering about the future of U.S. foreign policy in the region. At the heart of the schism lies a toxic mix of personal animosity, strategic divergence, and a staggering $600 billion deal with Saudi Arabia. This is the story of how a bromance turned into a Cold War, reshaping the geopolitical landscape in its wake. The seeds of discord were sown long before Trump's dramatic trip to the Middle East in May 2025. Netanyahu, the wily political survivor, had grown accustomed to getting his way with Washington. Trump, the unpredictable dealmaker, had other plans. He saw an opportunity to reshape the region on his terms, and Netanyahu, he believed, was standing in his way. The relationship, once characterized by mutual admiration and shared interests, began to fray. Public pronouncements of friendship rang hollow as private conversations grew increasingly tense. Trump, known for his brash style and disdain for diplomatic niceties, reportedly told aides, F** him, referring to the Israeli prime minister. The gloves were off. Petrodollars and power, the $600 billion Saudi deal. Trump's decision to bypass Israel during his Middle East tour spoke volumes. The centerpiece of the trip was a series of agreements with Saudi Arabia, totaling a staggering $600 billion. The deals included massive arms sales, energy investments, and infrastructure projects, cementing the kingdom's status as a linchpin of Trump's Middle East strategy. The sheer scale of the Saudi deal sent a clear message to the region and the world. America's foreign policy priorities were shifting. No longer was Israel the unquestioned recipient of U.S. largesse and diplomatic cover. Trump, it seemed, was willing to play a different game, one where oil wealth and strategic interests trumped old allegiances. The deal was not just about money, it was about power. By forging closer ties with Saudi Arabia, Trump aimed to counter Iranian influence, stabilize energy markets, and secure lucrative contracts for American companies. Israel, with its limited resources and intractable conflict with the Palestinians, was relegated to the sidelines. Erased from the equation Israel's absence in strategic planning, the Saudi deal was only the tip of the iceberg. Behind closed doors, Trump's administration was quietly sidelining Israel on key regional issues. Reports emerged of a White House meeting where Trump, in a fit of pique, allegedly used a marker to erase Israel from a map of the Middle East. Whether apocryphal or not, the story resonated with a growing sense that Israel was being written out of America's regional strategy. Netanyahu, accustomed to being consulted on every aspect of U.S. policy in the region, was kept in the dark. Trump's team negotiated directly with Iran, bypassing Israel's concerns about its nuclear program. They engaged with Hamas, the Palestinian militant group that controls Gaza, without consulting Jerusalem. And they brokered a separate ceasefire with the Houthis in Yemen, further undermining Israel's regional standing. The message was clear: Israel was no longer indispensable to America's Middle East agenda. Trump, it seemed, believed he could achieve his goals without Netanyahu's input or cooperation. A bridge too far? The confrontation, and the walkout. The simmering tensions between Trump and Netanyahu finally boiled over during a private meeting in the Oval Office. Accounts of the encounter vary, but all agree it was a diplomatic disaster. Trump, according to sources, berated Netanyahu for his handling of the Palestinian issue, and his close ties to the Republican Party's evangelical wing. Netanyahu, known for his sharp intellect and even sharper tongue, refused to back down. He defended his record and reminded Trump of the importance of the U.S.-Israel alliance. But Trump, his patience exhausted, reportedly cut him off mid-sentence. He rose from his chair, muttered an expletive, and walked out of the room, leaving a stunned Netanyahu behind. The walkout was a defining moment in the relationship, a public humiliation that Netanyahu could neither forget nor forgive. It shattered any pretense of friendship and confirmed what many had suspected: the special relationship was over. The fallout from the Oval Office blow-up was swift and severe. Leaked documents, purportedly from the Pentagon, suggested a fundamental shift in United States strategic thinking. The documents, whose authenticity has not been independently verified, outlined a plan to reduce America's military footprint in the Middle East and prioritize competition with China. The implications for Israel were stark. For decades, Israel had relied on America's military umbrella for its security. Now, with the United States pulling back, Israel felt exposed and vulnerable. The leaked documents, whether genuine or not, reflected a growing sense of unease in Jerusalem about America's commitment to its security. The documents also hinted at a potential rapprochement between the United States and Iran. Trump, eager to extricate America from the Middle East, saw a nuclear deal with Tehran as the key to ending the region's perpetual crisis. Israel, which considered Iran an existential threat, viewed such a deal with alarm. Adding to the sense of betrayal in Israel was the secretive nature of Trump's dealings with Saudi Arabia. While the $600 billion deal was announced with great fanfare, many of the details remained shrouded in secrecy. Rumors swirled of backroom deals and quid pro quos, fueling suspicions that something was amiss. Israeli officials complained that they were kept in the dark about the substance of the Saudi negotiations. They feared that Trump, in his eagerness to strike a deal, had made concessions that could harm Israel's security. Their concerns were dismissed by the Trump administration, but the damage was done. Trust, once the bedrock of the United States-Israel relationship, had evaporated. The secrecy surrounding Trump's Saudi diplomacy only deepened the sense of unease in Israel. It confirmed what many Israelis had come to believe. America under Trump was no longer a reliable ally. The fallout between Trump and Netanyahu has sparked a fierce debate about the future of the United States-Israel relationship. Some argue that Trump has betrayed Israel, abandoning a loyal ally for short-term gain. They point to the Saudi deal, the exclusion of Israel from strategic discussions, and the alleged F***him comment as evidence of Trump's disdain for Israel and its prime minister. Others, however, maintain that Trump is simply pursuing America's national interests, even if it means ruffling some feathers in Israel. They argue that the United States can no longer afford to be beholden to Israel's security concerns, especially as it pivots to confront China in the Pacific. They see Trump's Middle East policy as a necessary corrective, a long-overdue recalibration of United States priorities. The truth, as is often the case, lies somewhere in between. Trump's approach to the Middle East is undoubtedly transactional, driven by a desire to secure concrete gains for America. But his actions also reflect a deeper shift in United States foreign policy, away from the Middle East and toward great power competition with China. The fallout between Trump and Netanyahu has profound implications for the future of the Middle East. The United States-Israel alliance, once a pillar of regional stability, is now a shadow of its former self. The power vacuum created by America's retreat has emboldened regional actors, raising the specter of renewed conflict. The long-term consequences of Trump's Middle East gamble remain to be seen. But one thing is certain, the region has entered a new era, one defined by uncertainty, volatility, and the fading promise of American leadership. The special relationship is over, and the Middle East will never be the same.